This week we're speaking to Carys Wright. Carys is a London-based writer and illustrator, and she sailed on the first ever Good Ship illustration voyage of our Find Your Creative Voice Fly Your Freak Flag course way back in 2020. Her first illustrated book, The Curious Cat and the Lord Mayor's Show, was commissioned by the Lord Mayor of London's office, and her clients include Tottenham Hotspur FC, Zoetis, and award-winning theatre company Clean Break. Carys' book project, The Day the Dragon Came, was longlisted for the Depictus Unpublished Picture Book Showcase 2025. She was part of the Picture Hooks Body Scheme in 2025, and she won mentorship with the PB Rising Stars programme in 2023. Let's have a listen, shall we? Okay, I see you in there. Oh, hey, okay, this was third time lucky.
Yeah.
I am honoured today I'm here with Carys Wright, who is a hardcore good shipper, and I had the pleasure of meeting Carys in real life with our human faces in Edinburgh recently at the Picture Hooks speed dating networking event thing, which was very cool. Me and Helen just elbowed our way into that event. But anyway, would you like to introduce yourself?
Oh, sure. Yeah, it was lovely to meet you guys there. I'm Carys. I am an illustrator, and yeah, hardcore good shipper. I'm honoured to be given the title. I have been a fan of the Good Ship since you guys started, which I think was back in 2020. And I was on some of the early art clubs, listening to the early podcast, the do-it-yourself at home 10-minute drawing exercises, which was perfect for those days when I was stuck inside our studio flat at the time, the flat that we'd moved into, being like, this is fine, right? Because we're out all the time and it doesn't really matter that it's one room and a half. So yeah, that kind of kept me sane, actually. It was really good. But yes, hello.
That's good. Hello, lovely to have you here. And I feel like everybody I've spoken to so far who's been a good shipper, who's come on the podcast, has been a hardcore good shipper, and that must be one of the qualifications, maybe. But I'm really excited to speak to you. Yeah, you can't just dabble, you've got to go straight in. So I'm excited to speak to you today about finding your creative voice, and I think maybe a good place to start with that is talking about your sketchbook practice, because I've seen your sketchbooks in real life and they are delicious to behold. Yeah, have you always been an avid sketchbook keeper?
Yeah, good question. So I think, like lots of illustrators, I drew a lot as a child and had stacks of A4 paper, printer paper, waiting for my felt tip pens, and did all of that. And I think when you're a child, that comes quite easily. Grew up, was doing art GCSE and art A-level, which is great, but it's a lot to do with beautiful pencil drawing of a bunch of flowers or stuff like that. So it's not so much creative flow, let's say. And then I kept a sketchbook throughout early adulthood, but it was like now and then. It's something I do when I was maybe on holiday, or it wouldn't be a daily thing. And I think it was really, I'd been doing a bit more drawing before Freak Flag. I'd been drawing a bit on my commute, like into work, and my other job. I think I was even temping at the time. This is when I was still working as an actor, and drawing on my lunch breaks and stuff like that. But it wasn't really until I took the Good Ship course that I got really into my sketchbook again. And I think it was two things. COVID happened. So as I mentioned, we didn't have anywhere to go. So I was a lot in my local park at the time drawing. And also, the Freak Flag course has a whole module on sketchbooking. So I was like, great. And I think I bought myself an A4 sketchbook, which felt very daring at the time because I'd had A5 max sizes.
You went go big or go home.
Exactly. I used some of the money that I would have spent like going to the pub or whatever, but obviously couldn't do that. Ordered a nice sketchbook. And it felt like I had loads of space. And it was a really nice feeling. And I got a bit addicted. And that's been going on then ever since. So I guess 5 years or so.
And you mentioned you were an actor. How did I miss that? So I know that you've mentioned theatre and stuff. I was like, wait, you were an actor? What?
Yeah, a bit of a funny journey. And I'm always interested in hearing kind of other illustrators that have perhaps come from a different route or haven't gone the traditional art school illustrator path. So for me, like I said, I always loved art as a kid. But I did also love plays and acting and stories. I think the two are similar in a way because I always felt like I was telling stories with my drawing and then also through doing plays and that kind of stuff. And I was a bit torn. I got to 18 and I was like, oh, I don't know what to do. And I think actually one of the things that made me not go to art school was I assumed I'd do fine art. And then I went to look around a couple of art schools and it was all like super conceptual stuff. And I was like, oh, but I just want to draw. I don't know if this is for me, actually. I guess at the time I didn't really know about illustration and that could have been a path. But I felt a bit like, oh, I don't know about this. I don't know what I'd make work about really on a conceptual level, or like big sculptures about capitalism or whatever. Sorry, that's not to do your fine art degrees down. It's just I was a bit lost, I think.
You're so right, though, especially when you're like, 17 or 18, and they're like, okay, what do you think about the world and all the social structures? And you're like, I don't know anything. I just like drawing pictures.
Yeah, that was how I felt. Whereas with acting, like the theatre side, that had a bit of a clearer route. It was like drama school, although, again, I didn't get into drama school, actually. I went to university in the end and studied English and drama. I went to Trinity and I had the best time. So I'm so glad, actually, that I did do that. And I think it's given me lifelong friends, but also lots of other things and kind of skills and bits that now feed into my illustration. But that's why, so I did. Let me pause. I went to Trinity without pursuing the art school thing. I think looking back now, actually, the drawing aspect was always there. So I ended up doing like people's posters for the plays they were putting on. And I did a module in costume design, which I loved. And that kind of thing. So it was always there. And then I moved back to London, worked as an actor for about 5 years and made some of my own work as well. So I did a bit of writing and was drawing in my sketchbook alongside it. Like I said to you about drawing on the tube or in my sort of half-hour lunch breaks when I was working on different receptions and doing all sorts of odd jobs to pay my bills. So it was really when COVID happened and forced me to stop, like all theatres closed within a day. I actually had a show that was meant to open that day. That didn't happen. And then there was just no work. So luckily I was working as well at part-time in a marketing role, which I still work as now, actually, as my kind of other job to keep myself afloat. But so I went full-time on that, but I felt such oh my gosh, what can I do that's creative? Because I feel a bit like lost and I don't know what I'm doing. Then luckily Goodship came along and provided a bit of an outlet for that. And again, then led me to think I've always not quite followed that path of following my drawing and seeing where that could take me. Let me see what happens. And that's what sort of led me to where I am today. So working as an illustrator. Yeah.
It's always so interesting to hear. I think like creative people, like the creativity comes out whether you like it or not. And it just comes out in different...
no escape.
It's like spilling out wherever you go, like even if you are in... Because obviously acting is very creative as well, but you're still like creating the posters and writing and drawing as well. Like I love that.
Yeah, making painting sets and all sorts. So it's always still there. I really agree with that. Can try to squash it down, but it'll always come back. So you may as well. Yeah.
And so that was, I can't believe it, but that was 6 years ago now. What? So how has life looked since 2020? What's been going on?
Yeah, lots more drawing. So I think for a couple of years just was filling sketchbooks and getting perhaps more. I did get a few. My first illustration gigs were through theatre companies that I knew of, actually, so that had worked with me in other ways, were then hiring me to illustrate for them. So that was a nice kind of little segue. Started doing some commissions for people, like of their dogs or cats or whatever. That was great. I was like, oh, okay, so I can earn a bit of money from this. Got really into picture books again. Reading was such an important part of my childhood, and picture books, especially the ones I had as a kid, are like ingrained, I think, on my brain. I can still see the kind of key spreads and pictures. So I got a chance to revisit that passion, which has been brilliant, and working towards, making some dummies, doing a few schemes. So you mentioned the picture hooks buddy scheme, which I did last year, which was fantastic. They're such a great... Who was
your buddy?
Organisation. I had Mariaho Ilustraho, who wrote Flooded a few years ago, and she was fantastic. It was just really great to get some direct feedback on my work as well, because I didn't go to art school, I'd never had that experience of having a crit or feedback, really. I've built a bit of a network of other illustrators that sometimes we share our work and kind of comment on it and things like that, but not formally. So it was really nice to have her help me build my portfolio up, and then also helped me create a new dummy that I was working on at the time. So it was, really great. And just having someone to, just be there as a bit of a place where you can ask questions as well was great.
It's so good to have like somebody's brain to pick as well, and have like formal accountability.
Yeah.
If you're building a portfolio, I'm going to go away and do this and come back.
Exactly that. Yes, we'll meet in a month and we can chat about what you've done. I'm like, okay, I better do that then. It's good because I'm definitely someone that needs deadlines, I think. So even if they're self-imposed, like competitions have been really good for that. Even if you don't if you don't win, which I don't think I've won anything, but that's fine. It's like just useful as a deadline and a brief as well. And it helps you build your portfolio. So that's the kind of thing I need, I think, to move forward. But before that, I also did a mentoring scheme called PB Rising Stars. It's actually an American scheme, and that was great as well. So got to work with an illustrator there as well, Cynthia Cliff, who's based over in the US. So just getting to know the networks a little bit. And I've had, then I illustrated my first book in 2023, and that was actually for the Lord Mayor of London's office. So not with a traditional publisher, but the Lord Mayor of London changes every year. This is the person who's in charge of all the guilds that still sit within the City of London, so the square mile, City of London. And every year they do a charitable project. And the Lord Mayor at the time wanted to make a picture book for the children that all went to school within the square mile. So I was hired as the illustrator for that, which was great. I also designed it and did quite a lot of the things myself. So it was a real like baptism of fire. And I felt like I learned loads because I was like, okay, I just need to put the artwork together and make it happen. So that was really great. And since then, I've worked with some quite big clients like Tottenham, the football club. I illustrated their Christmas story. What was it, 2024? Can't remember. Yeah, I think it was 2023. I think it was before I had my son. I can't remember. Things
Time
are now
is
like
melted.
Yeah, and everything in my brain is like before or after I was pregnant. I can't quite remember there, but that was really great. And
So that's a good sort of path into the next bit. So when was your son born? Because I feel like that changes everything, doesn't it? Like work, how much you can work and how much you don't want to work as well. And it changes your priorities completely, doesn't it?
Yeah, it definitely does. So I had my son almost 2 years ago. So it's nearly 2. So February 2024, he was born. And I was on maternity leave because I've still got my marketing job as well. So I was on maternity leave from that, which was great. Oh, no, I'm remembering now that Tottenham was when I had him in the background, actually. Yeah. So I was on maternity leave from my marketing job. And maternity leave, let me be clear, like it's not a holiday in any way, shape or form. It's really tough. But I did have a bit more time to draw at the same time. So it was like both sides of the coin, especially when he was really tiny. So yeah, spent a bit of time drawing him. And that could be like 5 minutes, honestly. But again, I think having my son made me reconnect with my sketchbooks because I was having to be very present and in the moment. And I think sketchbooking helped with that. And also I've got a lovely record now of him growing up. Like they change so quickly, don't they? Especially in those first sort of 6 weeks. And I definitely didn't draw him every day, but I made an effort to capture some of that time we had together. And that was really great. And I think in that summer when he would have been about 6 months or so, I did the 3 materials challenge, which some other good shippers run. So that was another good way to draw every day and just have a play. And my sketchbook, I think, then again became a place of play. I think when there's not a sort of end goal with it, that's what it does. It's just like somewhere to experiment. So it let me play with new materials and also just capture, time with my son. So that was great. And I think during my maternity leave from my other job, I just felt like I had more mental headspace for my kind of creative inner life and where I wanted to take my career. So I think I did like a website update, started to think more about selling prints and kind of other things were starting to occur to me. And that autumn, I got approached by Tottenham and I did do the job with him in the background. I just could completely forgotten that he was like, because I remember speaking to their team and I had to like run in between rooms because he was just learning to pull himself up and potentially falling over and all of that kind of stuff. So it definitely is a juggle.
That is so impressive, even that you managed to get that much drawing done. Because I did a very short maternity leave, but the drawing thing was hard. And then I felt like the window of her being small and not just grabbing the pen off me or the pencil or wanting to get in the sketchbook, that window is so short. Because now
so
even if I
short,
like look at my iPad, she's, can I do painting? No, that's my boring work iPad. You do not touch that. So hats off to you. And even to get drawing done nearly every day is amazing.
Yeah, most days. And it's, again, that just was what worked for me. I think anyone that's having a baby and that's artistically inclined, don't put pressure on yourself to, I must make most of this time and stuff, because there's so many other pressures that you're going to be dealing with as a new mum. Don't let that be one of them. But if it's something that maybe could just give you a bit of a break or a respite and a bit of time to be creative, then that's great. Yeah. Take what I'm saying with a pinch of salt, I think, as well. But so where was I? So then when I went back to work last year, I think I'd already done a fair bit of looking at my illustration business and thinking about where I wanted it to grow. So I think I had applied to Picture Hooks within that time as well and got the place and all of that. And then last year was really about focusing on that and building my portfolio up again. Portfolio is something you're always working on though, isn't it? So I wanted to do this big refresh of it. It's partly because I'd started to work in a slightly different way. So I wanted it to reflect that. But I know that in a year or so, I'll probably be like, oh, I need to do a refresh. But it's really just a constant thing, I think, which again, the good ship's been really helpful to make me realize it's okay. It doesn't have to be perfect. Like, it's where you're at now. That can be your portfolio, but it doesn't have to be, this is it forever. I must sign my name in blood and I can't change it.
Yeah, I mean, it's really the same, like everything is in progress, isn't it? Like, you're finding a creative voice is forever, an ongoing, lifelong project. Your website, which is basically a portfolio, that's never ever finished. And your portfolio is always evolving as well. I think having a portfolio is the big first thing. People get so in their head about it that they don't even bother making a website, or they don't even make a portfolio because they're so scared of doing it wrong or not having it exactly how they want it. Yeah, definitely. And I think it's good ship that has said to me, like, you can just start doing it. And I really believe in that for anything. You won't always feel like an expert. You won't necessarily feel ready, but it's okay. You can just start and you'll learn on the way, and it doesn't really matter. Maybe it's the elephant phrase. I can't remember. Eat the way to eat an elephant is 1 teaspoon at a time. That's it. 1 teaspoon. Poor elephant. But it's quite a good one to remember. And the freak flag stuff like keeps coming back. I think that's partly maybe why I wanted to redo my portfolio. I felt like actually with getting more work, I'd lost a bit of me in that. And I think it's maybe always going to be a case of you've got to realign yourself, navigate to, oh, actually, that's what I'm really interested in. And that's me. And that's what I want to do. Because as I maybe got better technically, I don't know, and like worked for different clients that wanted different things, and you can get a bit lost, I think. And it's important to have that time to come back and be like, oh no, it's okay. This is actually my like main values, or like what I'm really interested in. So I've definitely come back and done bits of the freak flag course again in subsequent years, which has been really nice. Like, I was even looking at it the other day, thinking about my branding, which I was learning about on the business course, business club. But I was like, actually, I need to look at my kind of weirdness again to inform that. So they're all connected. That's so good. Yeah. Absolutely. And I feel like we hear that so much. I think we've all experienced it as well, like me, Helen, and Tanya, that thing where work is going when you're working with more clients. It's so hard to kind of stay in your weirdness and remember who you are and not just be like totally sucked into, well, this makes money and I'm just going to do this thing because I will get work. There's like a balance, isn't there, of like getting client work, but also staying true to your own freak flag at the end of the day. So yeah, definitely. You're on it. And that's great that you're in an illustration business club as well. I love to hear it. Yeah. Oh, it's great. I mean, I actually still haven't finished it, but that's okay. I'm doing it 1 teaspoon. I don't think anybody has. And it's been really helpful. What was I going to say on that? I can't remember. Oh, I was just going to say, I think maybe this is covered as well in freak flag, like digital stuff. Because you were saying about the Tottenham job, I had my son, but it was also quite a tight time frame. So I decided to do that work on my iPad, which I still stand by that decision because I just thought they might have loads of changes. So I need to do it in layers just in case. And that was great and it worked well. And I felt like I learned a lot about how to use Procreate to make work. And it has a slightly older feel than Picture Book, so that's fine. But then I was like, oh, but
actually, I love paint. So let me go back and experiment with that again and think about line and how it can be a bit messier and more free, like my sketchbook work. So it's, yeah, you're always jumping between the different ways of working, I think, and trying to find something that works for you at the time. And that fits back into maybe what I was saying about the realignment piece. And you've got to navigate. Yeah.
And if you feel more confident in your creative voice, whatever tool you're using, whether it is digital or analog, I feel like your voice comes through anyway. So it's almost, you don't even worry about it, because people sometimes come in and they're so worried about, oh, I need to get an iPad, or I must work digitally. Or even now I'm seeing people saying, oh, I can't work digitally because people will think it's AI, and I don't want people to think it's AI. So I must work analog. And I'm like, it really doesn't matter. Just find your creative voice and do the thing you're going to do. And whatever, like whether you're cutting out and doing collage or painting or like doing some crazy digital stuff, it's all going to look like it's come from your hands, and that's all that matters.
Yeah, definitely. I think, I was one of those people actually that thought, I can't do digital artwork, so I can't use Illustrator or Photoshop, so I can't be an illustrator. That's not going to work. But no, I saw sense. I think, again, Freak Flag was like, it's fine. You can make work however you want. You can do finger painting if you want. It'll still be your work. So that definitely, if anyone's listening that still feels that way, please don't worry. I still can only do very basic things on Photoshop, and that's okay. Yeah,
that's what YouTube's for, isn't it? It's like, dear YouTube, how do I do this thing? Show me step by step. Like even I've done like courses in it, and I still just go straight to YouTube and ask it how to do things.
Yeah, because there's just always going to be more tools, and you're like, oh my gosh, I can do this. Okay, let me go down a rabbit hole and learn about this tool. But and actually, I think, having seen Helen's work, I think when I was doing the picture book course, perhaps was the time when she was working digitally. I can't remember, but there was a time when Helen made a couple of books on her iPad. And that, I think, really helped me as well. Realize that your voice is still, it can still be consistent across digital, handmade, traditional, doesn't matter. So that was really helpful as well. As well as all her tips about don't zoom in, it's okay, was really good. And
the not zooming in tip has saved my life as well, because it does, definitely. You can notice it.
And people can't zoom in on a book, so you shouldn't necessarily zoom in on your screen, even though it's tempting. And keep your brushes few and consistent and all that kind of thing has been really helpful. But,
brilliant. I know you mentioned markets and selling things online. Maybe that was that your evolution from thinking more commercially once you felt like you found your creative voice a bit and be like, let's add some income streams. What did that look like for you?
Yeah, definitely. So I think I'm trying to remember when I opened my online shop, and I can't quite remember. I think it could have been on maternity leave. So I just added a shop section within my website's on Wix, and that's got its own inbuilt shop function. So that was easy. Really easy to do. Just some prints of some of my sketchbook pages, and they were quite popular. So I was like, I wonder if I could do markets. So I did my first market, I think November 2024, maybe. Cool. And I've done them. It was great. It was a local market, and I'm lucky I live in quite a sort of arty area, as it turns out. Like there's lots of makers in South London, and lots of them, other people that were doing similar things were there, or lots of people with ceramics or fabrics or whatever it might be. So I think the person that runs this particular market, it's Maple Road Market, if there's anyone local, has a nice taste and was really welcoming. So I did my stall there before Christmas. Now that also makes a difference because people are looking for presents and things. But yeah, it went well. And I think that was the first time I also did my live portraits, which have turned out to be now probably the main thing that people buy at my market stalls. So I've done a few more markets since. I've been doing them for about a year. And at the last one I did, so exactly a year later, I was basically back to back doing portraits. And I was like, oh my gosh, brilliant. I can't sell prints and do portraits at the same time. It's really difficult, which is a lovely problem to have. And I'll try and figure it out for the next markets that I've got coming up.
You're going to have to train that child fast to be like, you handle sales.
You press this button and take the money and put it in a nice bag. Actually, I don't even have bags. I should probably do that. But yeah, it's been really nice. And I think one of the reasons that I didn't want to work as an artist originally, like way back when I was 18, is I thought that meant you'd have to work and just be solo all the time and just not ever see anybody else. I don't think that's 100% true. I do think it can be lonely because you're often at your desk But as someone that's maybe a bit more extroverted, I think I'm probably a mix, really, which maybe we all are. Like, I need my own time and space as well. But the markets tick that box for me of chatting to people and being really like, meeting loads of different people, talking about my work, having a bit of a laugh. Like, it's really nice for that. And it's just a day and I can do that. And it's actually quite overstimulating for me, but that's fine because it's just a day. So this is really intense. I'll do this and then I'll do another one in a month or 2 months or whatever. So it's quite a nice thing to add to your kind of revenue stream list if that's something that you also would enjoy, I think, which not everyone would, and that's fine as well. Just do your sales online. So yeah, I think just with experimentation, you'll find, like I have found, the different bits that work. Like, I'd love to, and again, I'd love to learn more about the kind of live illustration that you do. I haven't done any, but I'm interested, especially because my marketing role is more corporate. So I feel like I can see it from that client perspective as well, as to why it would be so useful for businesses to have that kind of visual capture of what all the kind of buzzwords and jargony strategy stuff that goes on.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I mean,
I think
the fact that you do, the fact that you do live portraits at events, like markets, sorry, it's basically the same thing as doing live portraits at events. And I know loads of people are doing really cool things. It's a slightly different market, isn't it? The portrait thing versus graphic recording pictures of what they're talking about rather than drawing the people. But yeah, it's funny that the lines blur a bit and corporate people get in touch and we just want a creative person to keep us awake because it's so boring. Anything.
Yeah. And actually, you're right. I've seen someone on your jobs board, I've seen some of the briefs come in and it's more, we want you to capture this event of hosting panels or having a symposium on this small fungus. No, whatever it might be. Like, sometimes they're super niche, aren't they? Which I love seeing. So yeah, that kind of one would be maybe a better fit for now because it's people, not the concepts. But yeah, such an interesting path. And also, I think so cool that illustration can apply to anything, because there's such a range of businesses there that are looking for our services as illustrators. And it's pretty cool. So I think when you first start and you think, oh, I got to just do magazines, maybe website stuff or books, and that's it. That's so not the case.
You're so right. Because that is that when you're starting out, you have that thing of, okay, I can be a picture book person or I can be an editorial person. And those are my two paths as an illustrator. And then, you get into illustration and like, wait a minute, like I can create my own products and sell them, or I can illustrate branding for people, or there's unlimited things that you can do with illustration. I think if you can think of, like, this would be like commercial business hat on, if you can think of any problem or pain point somebody has, there's probably a way that illustration can help it in some way. Yeah. And I think especially now with AI and everything the way it is, we had the AI workshop earlier this week and we were talking about companies are using illustration now because it's so friendly and human and welcoming. It's like the ultimate, it soothes the apocalyptic feel that AI stuff can have. Like if you look at Claude's branding is gorgeous, the Google AI one. It's like
I don't think I've seen
hand-drawn logo, and they've got like a cream background. I'm like, oh, it's beautiful. But it's
someone's done this by hand, not AI. Yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah, it's got this hand-drawn, trusted human feel to the branding, and I'm like, that speaks volumes for where we're at.
Yeah, definitely. AI, I think it obviously has its benefits, but I was even looking today, I saw a post on Instagram that was like AI interpretation versus a children's interpretation of animals that don't exist yet. And it was so interesting because it was like the AI ones looked quite like sophisticated. Like they had shading and they had texture and they looked like real animals, imaginary, fantastical animals. But the children's ones were just so much cooler and they were genuinely things that don't exist. Whereas the AI ones were like hodgepodge of different things, so like a dragon with a fishtail or blah, blah, blah. And it just made me think like that can never, hopefully, I don't think can never be replicated because it's like the imagination part that we have as humans is like in our brain. It's such an ephemeral thing. AI can't really take that. So AI can use what already exists and replicate it, but it can't always do the joining of the dots in the imagination and in the brain. So yeah, it's really interesting.
That's so true.
We're in a funny time, aren't we?
We are. And like, human brains do like unhinged thinking, whereas AI is going with algorithms and blending existing things. Where it's like, I want to do this for no reason.
Yeah, I just want to. Whereas AI is like, I'll give you the top 3 benefits of this. And if you want, I can turn it into this. I'm like, no.
Want me to draft an email? No, stop it.
Yeah, exactly.
So I knew you were in the theatre, but I didn't realise you were an actor. So that's very exciting to hear your kind of journey from being an actor to being an illustrator. And also, I feel like marketing is very creative. So it doesn't surprise me that you're in a marketing role. Is it part-time?
It is, yeah. It's 4 days a week at the moment. I think, to speak to both of those, I think even thinking about the different revenue streams as an illustrator, I think the different sort of hats you can wear as a creative can and should be maybe varied as well. So I think even in my own head, I was very much like, I'm an actor. That is it. I must take it very seriously. And maybe had not thought about bringing in some of the other things I'm interested in. In 2023, just before I had my son, and I haven't really made any theatre work since, but I worked on a show that I wrote, but that also had some of my drawings in it, like animated behind me when I was performing. And I was like, that felt like a really exciting mishmash of different things that I'm interested in. And like, I'm really interested in having to, in doing potentially more of that as I grow up, like writing my own stories and illustrating those, or thinking about how things could be different forms. Oh yeah, and I wrote some music for that as well with a proper composer. But thinking about the different forms that things can take is really cool. And I think, and jumping back to Freak Flag, I think that's why I really latched on to some of the stuff that's in that course, because it's not just what pictures do you like? It's, but what? I don't want to give away too much of what's inside the course, but think outside the box about what's inspiring or like what has made an impression on you. And that could be like my granny's, I don't know, jam that I used to spread on my toast. And like, it doesn't have to be what you'd expect or like within a certain box. And I think that is, I don't know, something that excites me, I guess, as a creative and a person that does has lots of different interests and like different things. And yeah, with the marketing thing, I think I just snuck into this role because I had copywriting on my CV and I'd done marketing in theatre before. So I'm within the corporate beast, but I maybe can bring in some creative insight as well. So yeah.
It's like prime example of the creativity comes out everywhere, and your experience, your life experience, and then your actual work experience all blend together into this thing that is your creative voice, which you're constantly excavating and finding and building on and refining. So it's so inspiring to hear. And I know there will be so many people listening that are also actors, or they're also in marketing, or they're also just in a place where they're figuring out how to balance having a child and finding their creative voice. So it's been so good to hear your story. So thank you for sharing it also so generously.
You are welcome. It's been so nice to chat to you. And yeah, hopefully it's helpful for people to just hear. I'm so nosy. I love hearing other people's like paths into illustration. And honestly, having come to illustration a bit later in my life, so like late 20s, I guess, when I made the shift, I even then was like, I'm too old. I haven't gone straight into this, so I'm going to fail. And what's been really nice is that's so not the case. And I've met so many illustrators that have come to this career in their 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s and plus. And that's so exciting to me that it's never too late to do it. And actually bringing all whatever you've done before and your life experience. There's lots of graphic designers. There's lots of architects. There's some people that have come from science, like so many different career paths before being illustrators. And that's actually just giving you more to feed into your creativity and your freak flag, which is, really cool.
Yeah, the more experience of actual life, the better, I say. So this brings that extra richness into your work. Yeah,
I think so. And again, because we are all different, and that's what's nice. That's what's exciting. That's why we're not AI.
Exactly. Yes. 100%. And what a good message to end on. Like, it's not too late ever.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And I still need to tell that to myself, because I am a very impatient person. And sometimes I'm like, it's not going very quickly. And because I think everyone's quite strict on themselves with their own careers. Maybe that's just, I don't think it's just me. So you can easily think, I'm not doing very well. I'm not doing as well as so, and I should have done this by now. I should have done this by now. But actually, if you take a step back, I think, so I have to remind myself, it's actually not too late. And actually, it doesn't matter.
Yes.
When you start, just start. I think there's a Julia Cameron quote about that. I can't remember it exactly, so I'm going to paraphrase. But it's, if the only difference between starting and not starting is that if you, I can't remember. No, I can't remember. I'm too old to start.
It's going to be so good.
It's like something about if you feel too old to start, you're going to be just as old not starting, or something like that. I have to find it and send it to you afterwards. This is an artist
we can put it in the show notes.
Yeah, put it in the show notes. Yeah. She's so wise. But yeah, I think that's a good one to think about as well. It's like, you may as well, because if you don't do it, you're still the same.
You'll still be old.
Yeah, you're going
to be old anyway.
It doesn't matter.
I love that. Yeah. It's a bit like that one, like the best time to plant a tree was 25 years ago, but the second best time is today. That's a good one.
Yeah, maybe that's what I'm thinking of. I'm just making
But I prefer the one you're going to be old anyway. Might as well be old and start.
Yeah, exactly. So there's nothing to lose, version. Basically. Yeah, the meme version. There's nothing to lose. Yeah.
A little Julia Cameron slap on the butt.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Failure is so part of it, yeah, as well. Because you learn from doing it. If failure was going to stop you trying, then you're never going to see what could happen.
Definitely.
Yeah, like making bad drawings is so important as well.
Yeah. Yeah. Because they show that you're doing it. If you haven't made any bad drawings, you probably just haven't made any drawings.
Yeah, exactly that. And it's okay. You can just start again. Doesn't matter. You don't even need to throw it in the bin. You can just turn over a new page in your sketchbook and it's fine.
Yeah, plow on anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you, Carys. I'll put all your links and things below so everybody can come and stalk you in a friendly way. I think you share the links. We've got your website and your Instagram, and you've also got a Substack. That's exciting. Adventures with a Pen. Yes. So we'll send everybody your way. So go and have a look and, I don't know, say nice things to Carys.
That'll be lovely. Thanks so much, Katie. Great to chat to you.